Okay, everybody, welcome to today's edition of Notre Dame Daily, brought to you, of course, by Fan Arch. I'm Pete Mulroy, and with the latest unveiling of the CFP Top 25 rankings, including what that 12-team bracket would look like today, we had the unveiling Tuesday night on ESPN, Notre Dame remaining ninth in the latest edition. And once again, what does that mean? If the 12-team playoff were to begin today as we sit here, Notre Dame would travel to Norman for a date with number 8 ranked Oklahoma. And here's what the newest and freshest edition of that bracket looks like. The top 5 really has no surprises. You got Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia, and Texas Tech sitting in that order. 1, 2, 3, and 4 get that opening round bye. Oregon, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, the Irish, and Alabama round out the current top 10. And you see it right there on your screen as the highest ranked ACC team. Miami right now would be the 11th seed. That's today, but that's contingent on the Hurricanes winning the ACC title. They'll need a win this weekend over Pitt and a good amount of help to have that happen. And then you also notice that number 12 seed Tulane, they're the highest ranked group of 5 squads, so they currently get that honor as that proverbial last team in. Tuesday's rankings via the committee also had BYU as the first team out, followed by Utah as the next team with that out designation. From a Notre Dame perspective here, what does this mean? Well, the committee indicated Tuesday night that Notre Dame, first and foremost, a damn good football team. Okay, here you are inside that top 10 at 9. You want to be inside that top 10. There they are again, second straight week at 9. Beyond that, and this is the hot button issue, what everybody wants to talk about. If you're one of those that wants to make the comparisons between Notre Dame and Miami, the committee's rankings once again also answer that debate. Yes, Miami owns the head-to-head via the week 1 victory. Fine. But both teams, I think we would agree, are vastly different now than they were back at the start of the season pre-September. When comparing strength of record, if you want to do that, Notre Dame 12th, Miami 15th. You want to go off that FPI, the Football Power Index. Notre Dame, 3rd. Miami, good, but still 10th, behind Notre Dame. The Irish also 5th in the country in total efficiency. They're 2-2 against teams currently ranked in the CFP Top 25, where Miami is 1-1. What does this tell us? Simply put, Notre Dame is being viewed as the better team. And more than that, this wouldn't even be a discussion, folks, if Miami hadn't won that game 27-24 week 1. And you see this now where, okay, well, will we have that comparison? Will a comparison unfold? And it is not even necessarily going to happen where we would be in a situation where you'd have to compare Notre Dame and Miami, because as we've seen, and you see the rankings on the screen and the things that I've said and the things we've read and heard the past couple of days, including Tuesday night on ESPN, there is no comparison between Miami and Notre Dame. They're not being compared. We knew that last week. There was no reason to do so. And even if you come down to it and you're using the metrics, both Miami and Notre Dame finished 10-2. The comparison, if you want to just go to the film, the last month and a half, 2 months, Notre Dame's a better football team. Vastly better football team. If they played now, Notre Dame would be the favorite, and I think most would probably pick them to win the game. We may not get that opportunity to see the two teams play again, and we probably won't, but point being, you're looking at all or many of the metrics that are going to be used or are used to place these teams inside the playoff field of 12. If you're making that comparison, and the committee right now is not, but if you're one of them who likes to do it, I just gave you some of the numbers. Based on that, head-to-head aside, from week 1, where teams differ down the road, you either get better or you get worse. Notre Dame has gotten better. Miami, very good football team. But that eye test, the Irish passing it with flying colors now. And all of those metrics, whether it be strength of record, football power index, record against current CFP top 25, Notre Dame, Notre Dame, Notre Dame. So that's not me making anything up. That's not my opinion. That is what is happening and what is existing right now. And the committee has basically said that the past couple of weeks. And you've seen it. I've seen it. We've discussed it on the show. We've had commentary on our page here. And you've seen it and read it in the media and on TV. The way that this is breaking down now, people are starting to say, okay, you have that head-to-head and it shouldn't be dismissed. And it won't be dismissed. But right now, 3 months almost, 2 months after that opening week game, yeah, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are a vastly different football team, and they've looked like world beaters. And they've got a couple of solid victories here and there against ranked teams, Pitt and USC among them. And they won both of those games, mind you, one at home, one on the road by double digits. So it's not a joke what Notre Dame has been doing lately. They're winning the games they're supposed to win, beating the teams they're supposed to beat, and when given a good challenge against a Pitt team on the road, you beat them by 22. USC in the slop, under the lights in South Bend, you beat them by 10. When your quarterback wasn't at his best. I don't think this is fandom here to say that Notre Dame is a comfortable entrant into the playoff field, deserving so. And important also as I transition out of this, and this is something that obviously we will continue to talk about in the days and weeks ahead, but focusing on this weekend's task, the regular season finale, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time at Stanford this Saturday, the injury front. And while the latest updates aren't necessarily surprising, they are significant. Though both of these guys that I'm about to mention are expected to be ready for the postseason, which the Irish hope obviously takes place in the CFP and not just one bowl game. Defensive tackle Gabe Rubio, right guard Billy Schrauth, once again out against Stanford. For Schrauth, it's his fourth absence in a row due to that ongoing left knee injury. Rubio misses his fifth consecutive game with a left elbow injury. Joining them with the same designation, you got Tay Johnson. He's going to be absent from his second straight with that left hand injury. Offensive lineman Charles Jagasaw, defensive lineman Sean Sevelato Jr., they're also going to miss the game. Kingston Viliamu Asa, Chance Tucker, as I talked about earlier in the week, gone for the remainder of the season. KVA suffering a season-ending left knee injury in Saturday's win over Syracuse. Tucker lost for the season with a left tibia injury. Now, in the special teams department, kicker Noah Burnett is listed as questionable for the weekend. And while the hope is that he's ready for more reps in action soon, Marcus Freeman said that legitimate analysis of both Burnett and freshman Eric Schmidt is going to continue, and it should. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Schmidt's filled the void in Burnett's absence, but given the struggles of both of them at times throughout the season, namely Burnett, who was brought in as an accurate transfer from UNC, Freeman and company will be heavily invested in getting this area of the team built up, more consistent, especially heading into, folks, the postseason, where you're going to need strong special teams play. We saw that last year. Tight end Cooper Flanagan made a season debut a couple of weeks ago against USC. He's listed as questionable once again. And that was really the last big name there. So, again, no real surprises ahead of Saturday's game in Palo Alto. But major opportunities now remain for guys on the depth chart in the continued absence of some of these players. And right on cue, one of them is freshman linebacker Madden Faremo, who's now going to see an increased role due to the aforementioned season-ending injury to KVA. Sophomore linebacker Kahano Kia is also going to factor into the rotation more. But it's Faremo, 6'2", 235-pound bruiser, former highly coveted four-star recruit from Oceanside, California, who's going to get the bulk of the work now that KVA is done for the regular and postseason. Both Marcus Freeman and Chris Ash discussed the massive opportunity this week in pressers for Faremo. He's got 14 tackles across 5 games this season, had a season-high 5 and a sack this past weekend. And both coaches said that while it is awful losing a person and a player like Kingston Viliamu-Asa, the time is now for the talented freshman in Faremo to make his presence more consistently known. Physical specimen, has all the tools and the intelligence. The time for him is now, and it begins in practice leading up to what we expect to be a start for him Saturday against Stanford. Marcus Freeman referred to him as an ascending player in that most recent press conference. And he said he's continued to see that steady growth and ascension that you want to see from a young linebacker. You add in the fact here, and this can't be understated, that Faremo has an incredibly close relationship with KVA. And it's really no surprise to learn that he's probably more prepared and ready for this sudden increase in responsibility than others would be, given the learning and bonding that's taken place between these two fine young men. KVA is going to return next season, and he'll be the incredible force fans and players have grown accustomed to seeing on Saturdays. But as I've said in past episodes of NDD, for as useful as the transfer portal can be, your depth and development come from the guys recruited out of high school, and we're seeing that here. Notre Dame's depth has been tested a ton the past 2 seasons, including this year, and once again, we're going to see what that development and that depth really looks like. You can throw guys in, a Cree Thomas, a Dallas Golden, and Ethan Long, Mark Zachary, who have gotten significant playing time. The growth and ascension of Tay Johnson, how great has he been? Sure, it's lousy that he's banged up the past couple of weeks, but he has been a revelation back there with the likes of Luke Tallett, Stroman, and of course Adon Schuler. So you have another guy now who's got a big opportunity from the young perspective in Madden Faremo, filling the shoes of perhaps, outside of Leonard Moore, your best player on that side of the ball. The things KVA does simply cannot be replicated. That does not mean, however, that there aren't players capable of slotting in, making a difference, and doing a positive job in filling that void. Madden Faremo is one of those players. And we'll get to see what his new role looks like Saturday against a Stanford team that, folks, looks much different at home. It's going to be great to see some more of Kia as well, who was a coveted 3-star in his own right from the 21 class. But this is a massive opportunity for Madden Faremo, and I know he's someone that the fan base, the staff, and his teammates have been incredibly high on. Now we're just going to get to see more of him. And you see where this development comes in. You miss KVA, but you have guys there for a reason who can step in and get the job done. And speaking of Stanford at home, this is not a Stanford team that's exactly wowed anyone with its 4-7 record. But with the regular season finale against Notre Dame set to take place Saturday in Palo Alto, the confidence level for the Cardinals is going to be a little bit higher. Why? They're 4-1 at home, coming off an emotional victory over their biggest rival in Cal. Under interim head coach Frank Reich, the Cardinals have picked up victories over Boston College, Notre Dame knows them well, San Jose State, Florida State. Man, did this season turn out differently for Florida State after beginning the season with a win over the then number 8 ranked Alabama. And then you got that aforementioned win for Stanford last week over Cal inside Sanford Stadium. So that's their 4 wins at home. The problem has been their play on the road, as the Cardinal is 0-6 playing off campus. But as we know, the road woes for Stanford aren't going to matter this weekend when the Irish come visiting for that 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. In said home contest, the Cards have put up 30, 30, 20, and 31 points respectively, and they dropped just one game at home. That was to Pitt back on November 1st by 2 touchdowns, 35-20. This is also a Stanford offense that prides itself on the run. They want to run the football, namely with Jersey native Micah Ford leading the way. This is a kid on the season, sophomore, 643 on the ground on 145 carries. He's found the end zone 4 times on the ground as well. Cole Tabb is a good-looking freshman in that Stanford backfield. He's in that mix also. He's gained 413 on the ground, 103 carries of the rock, and 3 touchdowns in his own right. So their bread and butter relies on that run game. And despite that record, 4-7, Stanford wants to play physical football, and that is something in that press conference Marcus Freeman made sure to note this week. The Irish know they're going to need to be ready to roll, especially, again, with Stanford coming off that big victory, that big win over their biggest rival last weekend. But being stout up front against the Cardinal run is going to go a long way in the Irish ending the season on a 10-game winning streak. So there's a lot of layers to this. We'll continue to go through this on the Thursday and Friday editions of Notre Dame Daily before the build-up and the lead-up to the regular season finale again Saturday night against Stanford in Palo Alto, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff for the Irish, and ESPN will be anchoring the coverage. So we'll get into some more of the Stanford offensive weaponry and taking a look at how the Irish offense might approach the Cardinal defense this weekend as well. We'll start that on tomorrow's program. For now, I'll close this edition of NDD. Have a great rest of yours, and as always, go Irish.